Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome to our second video where you took some notes on cross products from the top of page 173 and from that green box to the left on multiplication property of equality. Two more methods that we are learning you can use to find out if two ratios form a proportion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to spend any time on that multiplication property of equality in this video. We're going to spend it all on cross products because they're so important. So, hopefully you took this down. You took down that it said, in a proportion where A is to B as C is to D. We're saying that's a proportion. We're saying those two quantities are equal so that we have a proportion. That we can do cross products. We can do cross products of B times C. That is equal to the cross product of A times D. Those are cross products. Now notice how I drew these cross products. If I draw my cross products this way, I look like I've drawn a big X. And back in elementary, what operation did a big X represent? That's right, multiplication, because it gave you the product, right? And also notice, ladies and gentlemen, that I brought this equal sign down in these cross products. That's saying that these cross products are equal. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a super important thing. You need to make sure you write this down. When you have a proportion, cross products are equal. You've got to know that. So now we've learned that we can use cross products as another method for finding out if two ratios form a proportion. Because if two ratios form a proportion, their cross products are going to be equal. So when we do the cross products, if the cross products are equal, we have a proportion. If they're not equal, we do not have a proportion. So let's take a look at that numerically. Here I have 25 is to 20 equal to 15 over 12. Let's prove that that in fact is a proportion, that these two ratios are in fact equal using our method from the previous video. So I can say reduce this by dividing by 5 and I can get 5 over 4. And then I have 15 over 12. I can simplify and reduce this by dividing by 3 and I get 5 over 4. And I know that 5 fourths is equal to 5 fourths, so these two quantities do form a proportion. They are proportional. So now I can go to my cross products. And I can say 25 times 12 has to be equal to 15 times 20. Because 15 times 20, well, 15 times 20 is 300. And 25 times 12 is 300. These quantities are equal. So we do have a proportion. Every time you have a proportion, cross products are equal. Every time you have cross products that are equal, you have a proportion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do some examples by identifying proportional relationships. It says, tell whether the two ratios or rates form a proportion. So we're just going to go right into it. So when you write these in your paper, when you're doing your practice, you can just go 25 over 16. Does that equal 65 over 56? And then you're going to use your cross products. I'm going to use the same color on both of these this time. And I'm going to draw this like this and draw like that, make my big X, and say 16 times 65. Is that equal to 25 times 56? Well, 16 times 65 is 1,040, and 25 times 56 is 1,400. Are those equal? No, they are not. So these two quantities do not form a proportion. All right, you might want to write this down because unfortunately I think I've written this in a spot where my next example is coming in. So I'm going to erase this first and now bring in the next example. 3.5 over 4, 11.9 over 13.6. You can see how using simplification would probably not be an easy way to go on this one. So we're just going to use cross products. And I'm going to go right into it right now, right here, and quote just like this. And I'm going to say 4 times 11.9. Is that equal to 3.5 times 13.6? And 4.5 I'm sorry, 4 times 11.9. 4 times 11.9 is 47.6. Is that equal to 3.5 times 13.6, which is 47.6? And the answer to that is yes. So those two ratios do form a proportion. They are proportional. Moving right along. Again, telling whether the ratios or the rates form a proportion. I have 10 used books for $4.50 and 15 used books for $6. So now I'm going to write my two ratios, 10 to $4.50. You know, I'm going to write that differently. I'm going to write that the other way. And you'll learn why I write it the other way. $4.50 over 10, is that equal to $6? I'm going to use that dollar sign, over the 15 used books. And of course, I'm going to use my cross products and go like this, and 10 times 6, is that equal to 4.5 times 15? And 4.5 times 15 does happen to equal 67.5. And 10 times 6 is 60. So no, these are not proportional. The number of used books is not proportional to the amount of money that you're paying. Nice. Moving right along to our next example. You run the first 3 laps around the gym in 1.5 minutes. You complete 24 laps in 12 minutes. Is the number of laps proportional to your time? So when it says laps to time, we want to write laps first. 3 laps over 1.5 minutes. Is that equal to 24 laps in 12 minutes? Notice I have the same units on top so that my ratio are the same. I wouldn't write laps to minutes and minutes to laps. That would not be the same ratio. That would certainly not give you a proportion. So we want to find out. We're going to use our cross products on this one. And I'm going to go 3 times 12. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go 24 times 1.5. Are these two in fact equal? And 24 times 1.5, well, what does that give you? In fact, it gives you 36. And 3 times 12 is also 36. So yes, these in fact are equal. The answer is yes. The number of laps is proportional to your time. Yes, because those cross products, are equal. Ladies and gentlemen, our last example of the night. You can buy 4 tickets for $75 or 5 tickets for $94. Are the costs proportional? If not, rewrite one of the rates so that the costs are proportional. So this is going to be an important one for you to follow through. Make sure you're listening first and write it down second. Let's write the first. Let's find out write the first ratio right here. And I'm going to go $75 to 4 tickets. Is that equal to $94 to 5 tickets? And again, there's a reason why I'm putting the money over the tickets. You're going to learn this when we get to our next unit. But right now, you could actually write tickets over dollars and you would get the same answer if you wrote tickets over dollars for both of them. But there's a reason why we do things in math, and that's just the way it is. So let's do our cross products and find out. Let's see. 75 times 5, is that equal to 4 times 94? And 4 times 94 is 376. Is that equal to 75 times 5, which is 375? So the answer to that is no. These are not proportional. So now when it says if not, we have to rewrite. Well, let's go back to a previous lesson on this one where we're going to write a unit rate. And I'm going to take my $75 over 4 tickets. I'm going to divide both of those by 4. I'm going to write my unit rate out of 1. How much is 1 ticket? Well, 75 divided by 4 is $18.75. So I know I'm spending $18.75 per ticket. If I want to be proportional with 5 tickets, I would take $18.75 and I would multiply it by 5. And I would get $93.75. So now I can use that to write my new proportion. My proportion, so that the cost and the tickets are proportional, would be $75 for 4 tickets is equal to $93.75 for 5 tickets. Voila. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our last quick write of the night. Yes, there's only 2 videos tonight. The quick write says, do the rates form a proportion and explain. So you're going to have to want to pause this so you can read that and write your proportion to find out if then doing the math, the cross products makes them proportional or not. While you're copying that down, ladies and gentlemen, you need to remember, if you have any questions regarding proportions that you do, highlight or mark them down some way so you can come to class and ask me questions. Remember, are your notes complete right? Did you use a proper attitude? Did you give your best effort? Are you becoming a person of character and intelligence? Are you doing things that will help you be as successful as possible? Ladies and gentlemen, always, always, always a pleasure to be with you. Every single night we're together. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow.